Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well today. We are going to talk about metabolism. And we're really going to get into quite the story here, but I think if you follow along with me, it's not as complicated as it may seem. Okay. You can take a look at the board. There are a lot of working parts, obviously, lots of pieces. But I'm gonna break it down for you guys so that you'll be able to see a lot of these connections. And you guys, these are things. Remember, in these videos, what I'm doing is I'm trying to help you guys to understand a lot of the drivers of the most common problems that I see in practice. And one of the most common ones is metabolism. So basically, an inability to lose weight or burn calories and have a healthy, normal body weight. Okay, so body weight's number one. Body weight and fatigue rank like hand in hand. And you're going to see like what I'm going to talk to you guys about here relates to and is going to get into metabolism quite a bit. And it's also going to help you understand how this same process can affect energy production. Okay? So, I hope you guys are ready to get started, but what I want you to do is, guys, remember, as with all of the videos and everything that we do, I just want you to do me a favor. If you like this video, please share it with people. By sharing the video, that's how I know you guys where I'm taking your it's basically your vote. You're voting for basically more videos and more information on metabolism and fatigue. Those are the things that like you guys have shared with me that you're really interested in knowing more about. And of course, you know, I'm always trying to frame this stuff in the context of thyroid dysfunction as well, and autoimmunity. But this is in particular relates to the hormonal impacts on your metabolism and on fat storage and on energy production. Okay, so if you like these videos, share them. That's how I know that you want to see more videos like this. If you don't share them, then I'm going to move on to another topic. Okay, so please share them if you like them. If you don't, no worries. Hopefully you get some value from it. And also, guys, remember, this helps you help your friends, you help your family, you help us help other people by helping spread this message, because I guarantee you that the majority of you have never heard this before unless I've shared it with you. Now, some of you may have, and that's fantastic, but the majority of the people in the general population around the world have never heard anything about this, and they do not understand the connections. And that's what I'm trying to do, is help you guys, help yourself, become your own advocates, and help you take your health back. Okay? So, I'm going to drink another sip of my oolong tea, and then we'll get started. Okay? Guys, do me a favor. I'd like to know where you guys are from. I haven't asked you guys to do this in a while, and we do get quite a few people from all around the world. So if you don't mind, in the comments, guys, tell me where you're from. And then as we go along, if you have questions or comments, please just post them in the comment section, and then my staff and I will try to get back to you and answer those questions at some point. Okay? So please post your questions and comments. Guys, tell me where you're from, and please share the video if you like it. Give me some thumbs up if you enjoy this content, and hearts are welcome too. Okay? So appreciate you guys. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about this connection between your adrenal glands, which sit on top of your kidneys and they sit on top of the kidneys and they produce stress hormones. They produce a lot of different hormones, but we're going to talk in particular about cortisol. And we're going to talk about how these adrenal glands are connected to insulin, which is, remember, that's made by your pancreas, right? Your pancreas, insulin helps to lower blood sugar, right? So we're going to talk about how the adrenal glands are related to insulin and how both of these things together can really wreak havoc on your metabolism, okay? Cause you to gain weight and cause you to have low energy, okay? So you guys ready? All right, so let's get started. So I've got these kind of numbered. I've got lots of areas, but hopefully this will be not too complicated to follow. I'm going to hold your hand and walk you through this, okay? So hopefully I can tell the story better than I can draw it. So number one is the main player in our story here is going to be cortisol, and this is an arrow signaling increased cortisol. Okay, so number one, we have an increase in cortisol due to something. Something causes the adrenal glands to produce cortisol at a higher level. Okay? Now, what causes the adrenal glands to produce cortisol at a higher level? Well, there's, quite frankly, a lot of things. But so the most common things that we see drive increased cortisol production is going to be inflammation. Now, inflammation, we can break inflammation down into a lot of the different drivers of inflammation. So it could be an immune response due to autoimmunity. It could be due to reactivity to foods or food sensitivities. It could be due to, so your immune system is reacting to food proteins in the food. It could be due to chronic infections, bacterial, viral, parasitic, fungal. It could be due to chemical reactivity. Maybe you're reacting to bisphenol A or some sort of environmental chemical. All these things we know can stimulate an immune response. They might drive an inflammatory process. Okay? Now, inflammation, higher levels of inflammation, will stimulate the adrenal glands to produce cortisol. So that's one very common mechanism that I find in my population of clients and people that I work with. Inflammation is key. That's why I always look at it first. Okay? Now, what else will drive up cortisol? Stress can drive up cortisol. So stress, let's think of emotional stress first, right? So anytime you have an emotional stressor, how does that drive cortisol? Well, when you're under stress, it triggers your fight or flight response, guys. It puts you like the lion, it puts you in that state where like the lion is chasing you. You're being chased by a lion, your heart rate goes up, everything changes, your adrenal glands produce adrenaline, they produce cortisol at high levels. And so that stress, if you're stuck in fight or flight response all day long, stressful work, stressful family issues, money stresses, whatever they may be, those stresses will keep you in this fight or flight response and can cause increased cortisol production. So remember, we're talking about, like, number one, why would we have increased cortisol? So inflammation, stress, emotional stress, physical pain will drive a stress response. So physical pain triggers a stress response and your body will produce more cortisol. Also, there's some medications that can increase cortisol levels as well. So these are the most common things that I see drive a stress response and cause cortisol to go up. Okay? So the adrenal glands will pump out more cortisol in response to a lot of these problems. Okay? Now, when your cortisol goes up, what happens? Okay? When cortisol is produced by the adrenal glands, then what you'll see happen is that it will stimulate, when cortisol rises, it stimulates the liver, and really this should probably be red, don't you think? It's muscle. Your liver and your muscle, so these are number three, the liver and the muscle to release, these purple arrows is a release of blood sugar from the liver and the muscles. So your liver and your muscles can store blood sugar. Now your blood sugar, when it's in the bloodstream, it's called glucose, right? That's what we check on a lot of blood tests. When it's in the muscle or the liver, it's called glycogen. Okay? It's just the stored form of the sugar. So your liver and your muscles store sugar, and when your cortisol goes up, it stimulates the liver and the muscle to release sugar, the stored blood sugar, into the bloodstream. And that raises your blood sugar. Okay? So, guys, do you think this might be a problem if you are pre-diabetic or diabetic? Or if you're trying to lose weight? Is increased blood sugar a good thing if we're trying to lose weight? It's not, is it? So cortisol is already having an impact on something that we know can negatively affect our metabolism, right? And can promote some very unwanted conditions like diabetes, right? So cortisol goes up and it stimulates this release of blood sugar into the bloodstream. So once blood sugar's in the bloodstream, this blood sugar will trigger the pancreas, right, your pancreas, to actually, number 4, to release insulin. Now, what's insulin's job, guys? One of insulin's jobs, and so insulin goes, the pancreas is releasing insulin, follow the purple arrow to insulin. The insulin will stimulate the fat cells, so this red blob is a fat cell. Okay, that's what we're using as a fat cell. The insulin will stimulate the cell to pull in blood sugar or glucose from the bloodstream into the cell. Okay, that's what insulin does. Guys, guess what? Insulin is a growth hormone. When your insulin's high, it's not good for weight loss at all. That's why you want to keep blood sugar steady and insulin low if you want a high metabolism. Okay? So this blood sugar that has gone up because of the cortisol, the rise in cortisol that resulted from inflammation, stress, medications, these things, causes an increase in insulin. And the whole reason is because the body has to bring your blood sugar down. And this is the way that the body gets blood sugar into the cells so that you can make energy and have a metabolism, right? Well, so what happens in this situation, though, is that the blood sugar comes in, and when the blood sugar comes in, if you're not exercising, or if you're in a state where you have lower metabolic demands, where you're not driving the utilization or burning blood sugar or energy, maybe you're just resting, maybe you just have chronic inflammation from infections in your digestive tract, which is really, really common, and you're having higher cortisol, and these things are happening when you're at rest. Well, you're not going to be using this blood sugar that's coming into the cell for energy production. So what happens is your body does this thing called lipogenesis. That just means you make more fat, guys, because you're not using the sugar to make energy. So what happens is you make more fat, and the fat cells get larger in size. Now, guess what your body fat does? Your body fat produces a lot of hormones. Body fat is actually pretty inflammatory, but it makes this really interesting hormone. Do any of you know what that hormone is? You can't look. Can anyone tell me, what does the body fat, what kind of hormone does it produce? It produces leptin. Because some of you guys might have heard of leptin. So one of the things that leptin does is as body fat storage or stores increase in size, one of the things that happens is that you produce more leptin. Now leptin makes you feel full. Okay? So that's a good thing, right? You've got plenty of fat, brain, you're full, signal the body, let me know that I don't need to eat more food, right? Leptin goes up, I should feel full, and that should be like a clear indication I need to stop eating, right? But here's the thing, guys. When your insulin goes up and your cortisol goes up, it does this interesting thing. It creates resistance. It can create resistance where the leptin is, your body's not sensitive to it. And yet that's not good. Because remember, what does leptin do? If it makes us feel full, but because of higher cortisol and higher insulin, we have resistance to it, meaning it's not as effective, then what's going to occur? We're still going to be hungry, even though we got plenty of body fat. Not good, right? We don't need to keep eating if we've got plenty of fat stores, okay? But here's the deal. These things, the cortisol and the insulin, can create this leptin resistance, causing leptin levels to go very high and causing you the result is you're still hungry, even though you've got plenty of energy stores. It decreases energy production, because guess what, guys? When you're making fat cells, lipogenesis, you're taking that blood sugar because you're not using it for energy and you make more fat, that's really draining on your energy stores. So guess what? You're using energy to make fat and you feel tired. That's a recipe for a big problem, isn't it? It makes sense, right? If you're hungry, tired, and you're increasing fat stores, that is like a nasty cycle that's just going to perpetuate itself, where you're tired, hungry, so you're tired so you don't move, you don't burn energy, and then you're still hungry so you eat more food, so you're storing more energy, and it just keeps snowballing because of this stuff. And how many of you thought it was just your calories? How many people have been berated by a doctor or someone else? You just need to stop eating. You just need to eat less and you need to move more. It's pretty degrading. And that just goes to show you that. And that's not acceptable. It doesn't matter if you work with people, you can treat them all with respect, like they're trying even if you don't think they are. But you need to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. And that really makes me, that really upsets me, because you guys see there's so much more complexity to this stuff, right? It's so much more complex than just energy, just move more and eat less, right? So let me explain. If you don't address inflammation, if you don't address food reactivity, chronic infections, chemicals that are driving an immune response, if you're autoimmune, you have to address these things. Food reactivity, chronic infections, and chemical reactivity that can drive the immune response. We can test for these things. You've got to address these, or the inflammatory load is going to create a cascade of problems that will just wreak havoc on your metabolism. This is only one thing that inflammation does. It affects thyroid hormone physiology. It affects neurological signaling between nerve cells, neurons. It disrupts everything, guys. It is so disruptive. So that's why whenever I'm working with someone, the first thing I look at I look at their inflammatory markers. Because I know if I can figure out what's driving inflammation, I can help them lose weight. I can help them improve thyroid hormone physiology. I can help them improve sex hormone physiology. I can improve their adrenal gland function because they're not going to be depleting their adrenals and creating all these problems that people just want to treat with supplementation. We can figure out what's driving the adrenal process. We can figure out, we can help just by addressing inflammation. We can improve neurological signaling and brain fog. We can do so many things by just thinking root driver of the process, guys. Inflammation, stress, medications, looking at these things that drive the process. That's why whenever I'm talking to people and they're like, hey, what's the best thing I can take for my thyroid? And it's like, whew, how do I answer that? There's not a best thing. It's what's best for you. And if someone wants to try to say, well, like, what can I do to help myself? What you can do to help yourself, guys, is you can start by changing your diet if you have not done that. It's a great place to start. Changing your diet, upgrading your diet to a whole foods diet that's not full of processed garbage. Okay? Really, really important. So you can do all kinds of diets out there that will help. There's all kinds of diets that may help you, but it really comes down to what is best for you as an individual. Because I can tell you, I looked at several people today that I saw, clients that I was working with today, and we looked at their food sensitivities. We did food sensitivity testing on them, we did immune reactivity to chemicals, and we looked at infections. And I'm going to tell you right now that there's no way to identify with people what they're reacting to. I don't care if you do elimination diets, you will never find out that someone's reacting to oregano or parsley or lettuce or a particular fish unless they're having a very significant food reaction, which is not really common with food sensitivities. Okay? You have to look and quantify these things. But that doesn't mean it's not worth trying to help yourself if you don't have access to get some of those things done, right? So what I'm an advocate of is starting with diet if you haven't started anywhere else. Okay? So you guys know, if you don't know, today is the last day. If you have not entered to win our 6-week Hashimoto's Transformation Program, go to thyroidgiveaway.com and you can enter to win it. Tomorrow we're going to give access to the program. One person, we're going to give them access, like 2 copies of it. They can share it with someone, they can gift it to someone, or if they have someone close to them, which is really our purpose, what we're trying to do is to get them to go through it as a partner with them. But our 6-week Hashimoto's Transformation Program, guys, addresses so much of this stuff. All this stuff that I keep teaching you guys, we have worked for years to try to figure out a way to address all these potential mechanisms without having to have someone work with us one-on-one as a distance consulting client or in the office. We're trying to teach you guys to empower you to help yourself. And we try to figure out how can we do that. And over a period of 5 or 6 years and learning from a lot of brilliant people and trying to come up with something that's doable, that's implementable, that's guided, we came up with our 6-week Hashimoto's Transformation Program, which, by the way, it's not just for people that have thyroid issues. It's for people that have metabolism problems, digestive problems, inflammatory problems, any autoimmune condition we've seen benefit from. It's just a good diet to balance blood sugar, decrease inflammation, and improve digestive health. And that helps to address a lot of these mechanisms that can be sabotaging your energy production. So guys, if you haven't, that's a good place to start. There's lots of good diets and things that might work for you. It's just hard for me to recommend because every one of you is unique. And that's the reality of it. That's why it's so hard to make generic recommendations for people. That's why, like in our program, I actually teach a class where I have you fill out an assessment form that looks at different systems of your body. I walk you through what it means on this whiteboard, and you take notes as I go through. It's about 20 minutes, and you know at the end of that class what your primary, what areas of your body are most symptomatic. And in that way, you can have, first of all, a baseline for beginning the dietary interventions and lifestyle interventions that we make, but then we also can help you to select what supplementation might be best for you to help support your body chemistry and support those systems that are run down. So if you have blood sugar dysregulation or digestive tract problems or adrenal gland issues, those are all things that we can help you support. And so we try to, it's a way to semi-customize everything that we do. So what's the best supplement for this problem? I don't know. It's what's best for you guys, right? And so the best thing that you can do is to upgrade your diet first, right? That's the best thing that anyone can do, is really to upgrade their diet, and you can start to combat a lot of these potential problems that we see. But really, guys, it all comes back. We always want to think root driver of the process. What's driving the process? What's the cause, right? And guess how we figure that out? We come back to these things. The things that drive inflammation, the things that drive stress. We look at what's promoting cortisol issues. And a lot of times, guys, these come back to the core basic physiology and basic things that you need to be doing to take care of yourself. Okay? So the complex problems can often be just look to the simple answers, because that's often where we find the truth, is in the simplicity and in the most basic things that are essential for life. That, a lot of times, we just take for granted, and we think it's got to be a more complex problem, a more complex solution, a more complex answer. And the reality is that we're overcomplicating things, right? I want to show you guys kind of relationships that you may not have ever been exposed to, because it's really important to know that it's not just a math problem, that's not just as simple as move more and eat less, right? We have to really look and think about what's driving these processes, and we have to strive to understand body chemistry better. Okay? And that's what I try to teach you guys. So I hope this helps you guys out. Please, guys, share this if you found this helpful. This will help someone. This will help someone, I promise you. Help us help other people. Help your family, help your friends. Share these messages with them so that they can take their health back. They can be their own advocates. They can be better educated. They can be better partners with their doctors. You know, they can make a difference on their own. And help us help other people, and spread the word. Okay? I appreciate you guys so much. Please post your comments here. If you've enjoyed this, please give me some thumbs ups. Thumbs up. Hearts are also acceptable. Share it as much as you want to, and let us know how we can help you guys. We're here. Hey guys, Dr. Shook, thank you for viewing our videos. I hope they help you out. If you want to, just subscribe to our channel somewhere here. You can watch a video that YouTube's actually selected for you, so hopefully it'll help you out. If you need any other information or resources, just look in the description. We've got links to our website, to our 9 lab test guidebook, and everything else that we do. I really appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a great